Hello, everyone. If you are watching this video, the purpose of this video is because Andrew and I are starting a new podcast. No,
Absolutely not.
no, this is actually a video for the fall of 2022 confirmation. So this will be in place of an informational meeting. It is just a quick video to kind of give anyone who's interested in joining our confirmation group, which is typically rising sixth graders. If you've not done confirmation and you're older than sixth grade and you want to participate, this video is also for you. So we're just going to give some information, some helpful stuff for you all to ponder and think through this summer so that you feel ready to go in the fall. I guess the first thing would just kind of be the purpose of confirmation. The purpose of confirmation is not a pass-fail class. It's not if you get everything right or wrong. There's no grades. There's no judgment or assessments or anything like that. It is essentially a place for sixth graders, for confirmands, to learn a little bit more about Central, about the church, about a deeper view of Christianity overall, and kind of just another step in the journey of discipleship. Did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, and I like to describe it as building your base camp. A few years ago, I used that as an illustration, this idea of mountaineering. And when you go into mountaineering, one of the most important things is building a base camp, your essential supplies to be able to summit that mountain. And summiting that mountain and coming up and down, it's all a journey. But before you begin that journey, before you head off, and a part of confirmation, the capstone is joining the church and becoming a full participating member in the body of Christ. And a big part of that is you have to build your base camp. What are your basics? You've been through children's ministry, you've been baptized, you've done all these different things. But confirmation is really a space to intentionally begin to set up your base camp for the journey of faith that you'll be on after you're confirmed and after you join the church.
I like that metaphor a lot. I think that's a really good explanation kind of what confirmation is. So, yeah, very cool. Just a logistical thing. We are changing the schedule for the fall. So typically confirmation would happen from 5:30 to 7 when youth group is happening, but youth group is shifting, and so is children's ministry. And so right after church on Sundays will be when confirmation meets. So unless otherwise scheduled, it'll be from 12 to 2 p.m. So following the late service, we will all meet together in the fellowship hall for a family meal with children's ministry, youth ministry, confirmation, small groups who want to join us, whatever. And then we'll separate into our groups to do confirmation and youth and children's choir and stuff like that. So 12 to 2 starting in the fall, and there'll be more details about that as well.
Yeah, we want to do that because we recognize, a lot of people have families, they have kids in children's ministry, they have kids in youth ministry, some people want to do youth choir, all these different things. And at Central, we want to make sure that you all can predictably and easily understand what's going on, especially when it comes to, your faith community, your child's faith community. And so having all of this within a block, you could come to church, and then after church, you can just head right down to the fellowship hall, grab some lunch, gather together with our community, and then there's programming for everybody, confirmands, children, youth, and all that's happening. And that's a big part of this, and I know you're going to talk about this in attendance a little bit, but just remember, we're a community.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is everybody in that community is important, and if you're not here, something's missing.
Yeah.
And so we want to make it as easily as possible for you to be here.
Yeah, definitely. And then the bonus is everyone gets the evening on Sunday together as a family. There's no coming back to church in the afternoon or evening. We just kind of do it all in one block of time, which is nice. So that kind of leads into the next part, which is kind of the importance of attendance. And so like Andrew said, if you're not there, something's missing. I really like what you all do at youth group when you do the closing circle. You always leave a space, right?
Yeah, we leave a space, and we say it's for 3 reasons. 1, it represents the presence of Christ. 2, it represents open space for new friends to join us. And the other is there's a space open because that's a space for our friends who aren't there with us. That there's always space in that circle.
Yeah, when you're not there, it's noticeable. We miss the presence of each individual person who's not there, and so I think it is important for confirmands and families to kind of commit to being to as many events as possible. I know that there's other parts of life, other, school events and sports and such, but it would be just really helpful to, as part of the confirmation journey, to commit to being to most, if not all, of the confirmation events that we have scheduled throughout the year. And the first date that I'll give you, the only date, I'm not going to go through all the dates here on the video. There's a separate document if you're interested in that. Let me know and I'll send that out to folks as well. But August the 28th, following church, we are going to meet in the youth arena for an official confirmation kickoff meeting. And so this will be the youth parent meeting and confirmation parent meeting. And so we will have a meal all together, and then we'll separate and kind of talk through more of the logistics of confirmation during that time. There's 2 retreats we do, one in the fall, one in the spring, and Confirmation Sunday will be May 28th, 2023. And the rest of the dates, I'm just going to send in a document because that's just a lot.
Yeah, and we don't want to go through and laundry list those things. And
right.
And here's the reason why we did this on August 28th with the youth ministry is because your confirmand is a youth. And so anytime, even when you get these important dates, anytime they don't have anything going on with confirmation, they're a part of youth group. And so they join with the other middle schoolers. They're welcome to Sunday school if that's something you and your family participate in. They're a part of all those things, and we'll spell all that out and make sure it's clear when we meet that day and when we send out more information.
Yeah, so that's something I like doing with confirmation in the fall is we don't meet every single week for confirmation activities. In the fall, we probably meet twice a month so that the other 2 weeks, your confirmand can go to youth group and start getting used to that schedule. Absolutely. And being connected in a fun way. We usually go to the fun things, the mission opportunities and the games days and stuff like that. So it'll be a really exciting time for your confirmand this fall, I think. One thing that I think both Andrew and I really like to focus on when it comes to children and youth ministry is the importance of the role of the parent, the caregiver, the guardian, the person who brings them to these places. Until they turn 16, and even then, not everyone gets their license at 16, parents are the ones who bring the child to these programs. There is an importance to that role, and parents are the number one spiritual guides in their children's life, in their youth's life. We can offer and guide and teach, but we're maybe a small percentage of what they get each week. They see their caregivers every single day. And so there is a huge role for parents here to be a part of that journey, to encourage them to come, to bring them to these events, to inquire about what they learned about, what they're, engaging with, who they're building relationships with and stuff like that. And so I do think that the role of the parent is just as important as the confirmands being a part of the classes.
Yeah, and I want to make sure I back in up on that. There was a study called the National Study of Youth and Religion, and that is their number one finding, that your faith as a parent matters.
Yeah.
It matters. That these kids from birth to graduation when they're 18, the number one indicator of what their faith looks like is your faith. And so we hope you know that it's not just that we want you here to help volunteer. All that's fantastic, and we want you to be involved, and we hope you are. But we also want to help find ways for you to tend to your faith, which is another reason why we're meeting all together after church, to connect parents together, to help support your faith, to help you grow in discipleship. In your own journey, because your journey matters, and you're I'm Ann's children's minister, I'm youth minister, all these things, but honestly the number one youth minister and children's pastor in your child's life is you. And so some of the best ministry that her and I can do is honestly help equip you in your faith.
And we want to support you in that as much as we can also.
And we'll and hopefully as we continue towards the fall, there'll be ways that you'll be able to do that, and there'll be more information coming out about that.
Yeah. So I think the last thing we need to talk about for confirmation is the mentor process. Do you want to
Yeah, I can
jump in on
go into
that?
that. So in youth ministry, we talk a lot about building a web of influence in the lives of young people. And usually they say 5 to 7 touch points of people who are faithful and who love God. And so that's one of them's me. One of them's Ann, one of them's you, but there's also and people like Rob and Luke, but there's also volunteers and people outside of that sphere of influence and within this church, faithful saints in this church. And one of those is a confirmation mentor. Confirmation mentors walk with their confirmand throughout the year. They join in events and they join on mentor nights. And usually that's someone not chosen by us,
Right.
but chosen by you. Someone in their life that is a faithful follower of Christ who loves God, who wants to walk with your confirmand throughout this year to help them navigate these different, if you will, supplies that they're being given to build their base camp. And so it's important that you guys find that person. And so we want to give you the summer to be able to do that. And as you kind of think through that, and as you ask people, or if you need advice. So if you don't know this, Ann is getting ready to. You're having
I'm having a baby. Yeah,
she's having a baby.
I don't know if you can tell.
And so Ann's gonna be out of pocket, but I won't be. And so you'll contact me. We'll make sure you have my email. We'll make sure you can get in touch with me, my phone number. And if you need help, or when you do find your mentor, you'll let me know. Because the other thing is we have to get them onboarded. There are things that our volunteers with children and young people, we're changing our child protection policies and our systems to shore up some of the gaps. And so we're turning towards a ministry safe system where they'll have different things that they'll have to do, such as go through and fill out an application with us and do an interview and do some sexual abuse awareness training as a way to make sure that Central is background checks is one of the safest place, as safe as we can make it for children and youth in vulnerable populations.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing.
Yep.
I'm excited about this process. It may seem long and tedious, but it's important.
It's very important.
Yeah.
The safety and well-being of our young people while they're with us here at Central is one of the highest priorities.
Yeah,
especially for the two of us. And so when you find that mentor, point them my way, give me their phone number and their email address, and then I'll begin that process. And then we'll have a mentor training, I believe, at some point in time where we...
September 11th, it'll be in the afternoon on Zoom. And so that'll be the one date you need to give them to start off with. And it'll be what mentors look like at Central outside of the background check and
absolutely
awareness training and stuff.
Yeah, it's a little comprehensive, but once we get the front end of things done, the back end is easy. So.
Yeah, exactly. And so we'll also have a mentor job description. It's a one-page document kind of what's expected, time commitments, stuff like that. So once you find a mentor, someone who may already be connected in your child's life in a spiritual way, we have that document that Andrew will send to you once you find that person to kind of share with and say, here's what we're asking of you for the entire year.
Absolutely.
It's not a huge commitment, but it is definitely a full year's worth of commitment in time and connection. So we are thankful that you joined us today, watched the video, and got all the information you needed. If you have any further questions about confirmation for this coming school year, 2022-23, please email either Andrew or I with questions, thoughts, comments. If you've not received any information, but you have someone in your life who you know would be excited to do confirmation as a youth, please let us know. We'd love to add them to the list.
Grace and peace, friends. See you soon.
Thanks.